Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our YouTube channel. And this is the People's Congregation of Shakers and Movers. My name is Sandy, and I'm here today with Anna for our midweek reset. We come at you live every single week as a sign of solidarity to everybody else who's trying to show up and have a little bit of accountability. God knows I need it. And so what I try to do every week is, no matter where I am, I stop and take a pause and I breathe for our midweek reset. And I hope that you all do the same with me. And here at 63 Washington Street, we do have some exciting events coming up later this week. We do have a Friday night full moon cacao circle with Christina Love and her sister Jessica, who's going to be leading us in a guided journey meditation after our hearts have been opened and our bellies have been warmed. So I'm really looking forward to that. That'll be the second time that Christina Love has joined us. She's also bringing 35 pounds of cacao in her suitcase so that we can have everybody who tastes the cacao that night have the chance to bring it home so it can be something that they can bring into their practice. So I'm excited to learn more about Christina's journey. And of course, we're grateful for Jessica to come and bring us into that beautiful meditative state because after our long, busy weeks, Friday nights have become like my favorite thing to do. Because the other thing is about Friday nights is it is an integrated recovery practices support group. So we are here for anybody who's recovering from anything. It's not like you have to be an AA person or you have to be recovering from specifically alcohol. Chances are you've had some stuff go down in your life and you got to get over it, right? So it's an alcohol-free night to be respectful to those in our community who are abstaining from alcohol. So you're going to wake up on Saturday feeling awesome, which is great because then you can come to Soul Saturday on, the 30th, and that's going to be DJ Nook. So anybody who was at my wedding, which is 200 of you, know how amazing of a DJ that Liam is, and he is coming to raise the vibration for the first time at PCS&M. So I'm super excited about that because God knows, like, as many days of the week that I can get dancing, the happier my person is. And you guys know that. It's one of my favorite ways to express myself. And another great way to express ourselves and get things moving out of our bodies is yoga, right? Absolutely. And I have to say, Anna and I did a power yoga class together on Monday morning here at Open Door. Shout out to them for their generosity, always letting us use the third floor. And I'm a little sore. My hamstrings are a little bit tight. It's really, for some reason, my hamstrings that really took the brunt of the practice this week. So I always look forward to this kind of more gentle, slower flow. I kind of think of it as my yin to the yang of the power yoga. I don't know if you feel the same way, but what juicy bits of knowledge and inspiration do you have for us today, Anna?
Well, one, I want to touch on your tight hamstrings really quick because one of the things I think that we forget when we go into a hot yoga practice, if you've ever done a hot yoga practice, it makes you feel really nice and juicy and loose. So that can trick our minds to telling us that we can push ourselves a little further than we are used to. So that might be why, because we feel so good, we want to push ourselves. So it's just a mindfulness thing that when we are in that hot yoga practice, just to kind of find your edge, but don't push too far beyond your edge because the heat's going to make you think that you can go further beyond that edge. And that's actually the edge that you want, like right when you feel that edge, because you've actually gone beyond your edge already. So that's just something to think about in a hot
kind
practice.
of the person that likes to push boundaries.
I know you do.
It kind of makes sense.
Yes. So just, something to be mindful. A really good example, I'll tell you this. I injured myself in one of my first few classes, hot yoga classes. I actually bruised both of my hamstrings without even knowing. I found out when I was in a dressing room with my niece, and my niece pointed out that I had these huge bruises on the back of my thighs. No idea until I went back to practice and I had to start from.
So you actually did that just by overstretching?
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could do that. All right,
yeah.
So I need to be careful.
Yeah, and actually, so then it'll put you back, at the starting point again where you're easing back into your stretching. So one thing to, I didn't know that either when I first began my practice. So I learned the hard way. And then the other thing I wanted to touch on was dancing energy. Oh my goodness. I have had it too. I have had the bug. I've always had it in me. I just, sometimes I think that we get so busy that I don't do it enough, but I've been doing it lately. And of course, when nobody's watching in my car, I'm jamming out. But one of the things that I really want to bring to that is that dancing is one of the best ways to release stuck energy. Bouncing the body, moving the body, dancing like nobody's watching, you feel so good. I mean, when do you leave a dance floor feeling like yucky? Never, right?
Never.
So if you're not dancing, get out there and dance in your bedroom, wherever you are, and it doesn't matter who's watching, because it's your energy, it's your releases, and nobody should be judging anyway. So
No, and you should come dance at Soul Saturday.
Come to Soul
Also,
Saturday.
yes.
Because
Nobody, this is the judge-free zone. Nobody's
Yep.
judging you here at PCS.
Yeah. I said today in one of my classes today, I said, I have a frenemy. His name is Judgment, and he stays outside the door. So he's not welcome.
Eat it.
Yeah. So, so that's one of the things I wanted to touch on. The last thing before we get into our movement is that the full moon is coming on Friday, which coincides with the cacao ceremony, as you said. Coming into a new moon, the energy is rising. There's been a lot of energy building. One of the things that you can do in a full moon practice is shed the old, bring in the new, re-energize using the full moon's charge, whether it's daylight or not. If you have crystals, if you have anything that you want to re-energize, set it out in the moonlight so it could cleanse, because actually the moonlight is very cleansing. So step out into the moonlight and get a moon bath, because it feels so good. So
I actually made moon water for that last super moon that we had.
Yeah.
I made some I have this like beautiful little dark glass bottle, and we did like a little fire like ceremony, and I charged that water, and so I've actually been doing shots of it in the morning.
Interesting.
Yeah, I speak kind words to it, because if you guys have ever seen the miracle of water, it's kind of living proof that the energy, vibration, frequency that you put out there does truly, in fact, affect everything around you. So everything is a ripple.
Yep.
That's a good quote from WFX. I said it yesterday too, but I really love that band. So
I love the ripple effect. So that's where we're going to begin here. We're going to begin as a center of a ripple, so we can share the vibration, spread the love. And I said that was going to be one last thing, but one last thing is I want to thank the community. We have such a great community here of people who really just are loving and embracing, and I just want to put the thank you out there for sharing the love and the positive energy, because, we all have things going on in our lives, but this is such a beautiful sanctuary, not just of space, but of people, your vibe, everyone. And they come here with the heart once they get to know us and they start, participating in stuff even more so, right?
They realize we're not super weird. We're not a cult.
Yeah, we're not a cult. We're not a woo-woo. I mean, woo-woo in the greatest of ways, just to raise the vibration. But our community is so loving, so embracing, open-minded, and I just want to put the thank you out there. I love you guys. You guys are so supportive and wonderful, and I'm so grateful that I'm a part of this. Always grateful.
And on that note, at pcsam.org, you can sign up for your membership today, which helps support this programming. And I would like to also take a minute to thank everyone who has signed up to be a member, because it truly does help me offset the cost of providing all these free services.
Yeah.
And we want to keep growing these services. My dream is to have this going on 5 days a week. I would love for Matt to just be up there with the singing bowls 3 hours a day. You could just pop it in and out like a gym and just get a little bit of healing when you need it.
Isn't that the beauty? Like bringing all this to community, but we do need your support in order to keep these services going. So whenever you can, stop by, give us a little donation. Thank you so much. So that we can provide these services for even those that, just come to seek the community. So don't forget to RSVP, because it's super important that we do know that you're coming, and it was great information so that we can supply you with whatever supplies we have for that particular event, have a head count. So another wonderful thing is that this is recorded. So you can go to YouTube at any time, pcsnm.org, our YouTube channel, PCSNM, and you can find all of our events and activities there. And one mindful thing to know is that members get special streams to events that they attend if they are recorded, so that you can watch them again and get any information that you missed. So all these sessions are really informational. So All right, so through that joy, through that love, let's come to our mats, our chair, or wherever you are to just come into your stillness. You don't have to sit like I'm sitting. You can sit cross-legged. You can sit any way you want. You can lie down if you'd like. And just begin to tap into your breath. So tapping into your breath, I'm slowing my breath down, in and out the nose. And as we do for all of our classes and all of my classes, is to set an intention for your practice this afternoon. Remembering that it is intentions that drive our actions, and it is these intentions we carry through our practice and take with us into our day-to-day lives. Inviting you at any time in your practice to come back to your intention. Inviting you to swallow at the back of your throat with me. And flutter your eyes open when you're ready. All right. So one of the things I want to talk about in this practice today, which we can take into every practice, is the breath. And the anatomy of breath is something that we don't talk about too often. So I do want to bring the awareness to the muscles around the rib cage and just your rib cage in general and everything that surrounds it from the back of the body to the front of the body. When you breathe, or when we breathe, I often talk about the diaphragm, how it expands and how it contracts as we breathe. But along with the diaphragm are the muscles surrounding the rib cage and that entire area that also helps the diaphragm move. So to keep that in mind, we are using the core to breathe, whether we know it or not. Now, there's active core breathing and there's passive core breathing. So most of the time, if we're just doing diaphragmatic breathing, it's not so passive because we are engaging the diaphragm. When it's passive, we're just breathing in and out like we normally do without thinking about it. So one of the things I want you to bring your awareness to is the surrounding area. As you take your breath in, feel the muscles expand, and as you exhale, contract the muscles without actually letting them relax. Like you are relaxing, but you're letting go of the breath, keeping the core nice and taut. Inhaling, expanding the muscles, and you can even place your hands on the rib cage and feel those muscles move. And as you exhale, feel those muscles contract, keeping your core active. Inhaling, muscles contracting, exhaling, feel them contract inward. Let's take a few more breaths just so you can really familiarize yourself with that sensation. Breathing in and expanding, feeling the muscles expand, exhaling, contracting, without necessarily feeling like you're not relaxing. Like you're totally relaxing and softening, but your core is active. And it's kind of like a little counterindicative, but that's what's happening. You're still relaxing, using your breath, but your muscles are moving. All right, so let's settle in. As we settle in, take a nice deep breath in and allow the arms to come up, float up. Let's take a gaze up to our palms, press the palms together and exhale, bring them down to heart. On the next breath, inhale, reach up, exhale, press everything away, and then let's roll the shoulders. All right, let's take a nice circular motion of the body around the pelvic bowl. and then go in the opposite direction. And then coming back to center. Let's ground that left hand in. Inhale, right arm up and over. Stretch through those fingertips. Nice deep breath in. As you exhale, draw that left arm up and over, grounding that right palm in. And inhale, let's come back up. And exhale, extend the fingertips towards the ground. Really feel yourself grounding those fingertips in, shoulders away from the ears. Heart is nice and lifted. Inhale, arms come back. Exhale, float them down. This time, roll the shoulders forward. All right, so a little movement in the cervical spine and the shoulders and neck. Let's take that left ear to the left shoulder. And then let's take the nose towards the shoulder. Extend that right arm out. Maybe fingers are tented. Or you can even reach back. Just finding your sweet spot, that sweet stretch. And breathing through that stretch. Float that hand back. Take a nice deep breath in and lower the nose. Bring it across the chest. We come up the other side. Nice deep breath in and exhale. Lower the nose towards the shoulder. Extend that left hand out. Fingertips touching the floor. Or just extending that arm out. Even reaching back if that feels good. Even bringing that arm behind your back. If you want to stretch the front of the shoulder. So just playing with that movement until you find your spot where you find that tension and just breathe in. So take a few more deep breaths here. Nice deep breath in. Exhale, float the nose down and across the chest. Bring that arm back. We come up the other side and then bring the head back to center. And now let's take little circles with our nose. Gentle movement of the cervical spine and in the opposite direction. And then let's take the chin to the chest when you're ready. All right, take a nice deep breath in. Bring the chin parallel to the floor. And let's get into our tabletop. Let's warm up our spine. And of course, you can do this seated as well. It's the motion of rounding in and extending the spine, which can be done seated, even standing. On our next breath, we're going to take a nice deep breath in. We're going to drop the belly, tilt the tail, and take the gaze up to the sky. On the exhale, we're going to round in. Chin moves towards the chest, and we're going to tuck the tail. I like to press against the mat to really reach the back side of my rib cage. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, round in. So again, that backside body muscles that we don't normally think about are also really expanding as we round in. Inhale, drop the belly, take the gaze up. Exhale, tuck the tail, tuck the chin, and round in. So continue back and forth, syncing your breath with your movement as we warm up the spine before we get into any further spinal movement. Syncing your breath as you move. And when you're ready, coming back to center, so a little sway back and forth, and then let's begin to move the hips and bring them in a circular motion. And then bring them around, gazing at the top of the mat. Maybe side to side again. And then let's bring the hips back, extend our arms forward, really expand those hands, grip the mat, take the forehead towards the floor and towards your mat. So this is another example where you can really feel the back of the rib cage as you inhale. That rib cage expands, those muscles expand, and you feel that all spread out on the back side. As you exhale, everything contracts, but notice what it feels like when you do pull that navel in. Let's walk the hands over to the right side. Allow that left hand to gently lie over the right. Really get yourself into that left side body stretch. Loosening up the body of any tension. Allowing yourself to drape over and just allowing that left hand to stretch the left side body. Feel that left hip ground towards that back heel, that left heel. Then you really feel that stretch there. Nice deep breath in and walk the hands back to center and slowly walk them to the left side. Allow that right hand to rest on that left hand and allow yourself to feel the stretch on the right side body. Nice deep breath in. Ground that right hip towards the right heel. And then you really feel that stretch on the right side. And then let's walk our hands back to center. Feel the hip shift back towards the heels. Extend the arms forward. Maybe tent the fingers if that feels good. And maybe a little massage on the third eye, moving the forehead back and forth. And then come to center, walk the hands back towards your knees. Bring the knees a little bit closer together and then curl the toes under and bring your hips back towards your heels. So let's give our feet a little bit of a stretch. Take a nice deep breath in, lift the arms up and reach back, and then exhale, float them down. Inhale, reach up and back, and then exhale, float them down. One more to take the attention away from the toes. Float the arms down, and then come back to your tabletop. Uncurl the toes. And then again, giving some circular or side-to-side movements with the hip just to loosen up the hips. All right, so we're going to get into some wrist stretches. Let's turn the hands around and allow the insides of our arms to stretch. Shift the hips back oh so slowly so you can feel that stretch in the forearms. And then gently turn those wrists back, palms face forward. Let's curl the toes under, come into a down dog. So then you'll notice we just stretched the forearms and now we're lifting into a down dog. So you're going to feel that little bit into the forearm. And then bring your awareness to the back body. Hamstrings are stretching as the heels reach towards the earth. Gaze is between the ankles. Take a moment here to walk your dog. Take your time stretching those hamstrings. Press the heart towards the thighs. And then feel your index finger and thumb really press into the mat. And then bring those shoulders inward and those elbows inward. From here, lift the heels high, bend the knees, and switch the gaze between the hands. And let's walk our feet to meet our hands at the top of the mat, coming into a forward fold. Now remember, I've always recommended having blocks for a practice. I love props. Props are my favorite. things in a practice because it allows us to access our bodies differently. If this is uncomfortable for anybody, because forward fold isn't comfortable for everybody. You can use a block to lift the body and allow yourself to take the forward fold, just so. Allow the head to feel heavy. Allow the shoulders to relax and the arms to dangle. Take a sway if that feels good. All right, so from here, take a nice deep breath in. Let's go into our half lift, hands on our shins. Let's reach those shoulders away from the ears, pull the navel in, and take a nice deep breath in as we root to rise, coming all the way back up. Palms touch, palms come to heart. All right, let's take a nice deep breath in, interlace the 3 fingers, pointer finger releases. Then nice deep breath in as we reach up and reach back. And then from here, come back to center. We're going to take a nice arch over to the right side. And a nice arch over as we come back to center to the left side. And then gently come back to center. And from here, let's gently forward fold. Come all the way down, release the hands. Plant the hands on your mat and step back into a low lunge with that right leg. Right knee comes down, inhale, arms come up, reach back, hold here for a breath, and then we're going to open up to the left side. Inhale, right arm over the right ear, reaching back. Then we're going to windmill the arms down, back to bracket that front foot. Let's take a balancing pose, lift that back knee, inhale that right arm up to the sky. So you can take this balancing pose even with the knee down, or press through the heel, lifting the knee, reaching up to the sky. Gaze can be forward or up towards the sky. If you want to take it further, you can even bring that arm back and take a twist, bringing that shoulder back, left shoulder back. And then let's reach high. If you do have a bind, float that arm back down. Take a nice deep breath in as you bring that back leg forward to a forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins, coming to your half lift. Let's root to rise. Come all the way back up. Nice deep breath in. Palms touch, palms come to heart. Interlace those 3 fingers, pointer finger releases. Inhale, reach up, reach back, press the hips forward, and then gently come back to center. Inhale, lengthen, we arch over to the right side. Press the left hips, and then come back to center. Another deep breath in as you lengthen, and we arch over to the left side. Come back to center, bend the knees, forward fold gently, still with the bind, releasing the bind at the bottom of the fold. All right, from here, inhale. Let's come to a half lift, and then let's plant the palm, step back with that left foot. Left knee comes down. Inhale, arms come up. Reach back. Hold here for a breath. Don't hold your breath. Just hold the posture. And then take another deep breath in. We're going to open up to the left side. Sorry, the right side. We just did the left. Okay, so opening up to the right side. Nice deep breath in. And reach back with that left arm over the left ear. Inhale, come back to center, windmill the arms down, bracket that front foot, balancing pose here, ground that left hand in, lift that back knee and open up to the right side. Right arm floats up to the sky. Maybe you're going to take that arm back behind you to take a bind. If you've taken the bind, release, float that arm back, up, and then float that arm down. Back foot, steps front, forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins, and let's root to rise. Come all the way back up. Palms touch, palms come to heart. All right, let's do it again. Interlace the fingers, pointer finger releases. Let's reach up, reach back. Then come to center. Inhale, arch over to the right. Exhale, center. Nice deep breath in to lengthen. Exhale, arch over to the left. Inhale, come back to center. Bend the knees, little forward fold. Slowly, slowly. Release the mind, forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins. For your half lift, and then exhale, plant those palms. All right, so we're going to step back with that left foot this time. And we're going to lower the knee, lower that back knee, and inhale the arms up and back. From here, float the arms down. We're going to pivot that back foot and that front foot to come into an abductor stretch. So we're coming into candlestick pose. So I am on the ball of my right foot, and I'm going to lift my chest up and take it into a balancing pose, hands at the heart center. Now you can totally just stay with your hands supporting your lift, or just stay right here, or bring the hands to heart center. From here, you can walk the hands over to the left side, or balance it by bringing the hands to center and just using your hands at the heart to balance to the left side. All right, so from here, I'm switching it up a little bit. So you can release the hands to support your lift, and then you're gonna pivot. Right knee's gonna come down. You're gonna find your low lunge. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, float them down, bracket that front foot. Again, you're going to pivot again. Find your candlestick. Snap, crackle, pop. Find your balance. Again, you can walk the hands and switch sides. Easy for me to say, right? It's okay. Use your hands to keep your balance. All goes here. And then from here, we're pivoting back to the front of the mat. That right foot pivots to the right. We're going to heel toe that right foot out a little bit. Actually, all the way out to the edge of the mat. We're going to come into a lizard pose. Bring that back knee down. All right, in lizard, we're getting into the hip here. So that right foot is on the edge to give the hip some space. Option here is to stay right here. If you want to open up the hip a little bit more, you can begin to lower down or use a block or a pillow or anything to prop you up to ease your descend. And then tilt the foot out slightly just to play with how that feels. If it doesn't feel good, then just bring the foot back to its flat position. Otherwise, you can allow that knee to fall open and find the edge of the foot, the outer edge of the foot. All right, so you can come all the way down if that feels good, just a little bit more, and then gently support yourself with your hands to prop yourself back up. All right, I told you I was going to switch it up. We're going to heel toe that right foot and come into pigeon. Okay, so that right foot is just behind that left wrist, and then we're going to gently lower. So the position of the foot depends on the position of your knee. So find your sweet spot. If the knee doesn't feel good in a particular position, reposition, because the last thing you want to do is injure your knee in an awkward position that doesn't feel good to you. Sometimes when you get into pigeon, rolling onto the hip, just so, you can find your reposition with your knee. So there's no like set rule on how to set your pigeon. I've seen several ways because this isn't an easy pose by all means. So your knee, your foot can be back here without flexion. If your foot is parallel to the top of the mat, then I would play with that flexion. If it's bothersome to the knee, then don't flex the foot. I say follow your body's wisdom. So take a peek at your back foot just to make sure that it's not twisted in. Make sure that it's nice and straight. And lower down. Take your time. Again, you can use a block for your head. And you'll feel that stretch in the outer hip. All right, so we're going to begin to lift. Walk the hands back. This time you're going to curl the toes under that back foot. You're going to gently lift that right leg up and press it back, coming into a three-legged dog, and then gently come to a downward facing dog. Just aligning yourself, and then gently, let's shift into a plank. Pull the navel in. Inhale, shift back to down dog. Lift the heels, switch the gaze between the hands, walk the feet to meet the hands, forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, hands on the shins. Exhale, plant the palms. We're going to step back again with that left foot. This time we're going to pivot, just like we did going into candlestick pose. Find your candlestick. Find your balance. Staying nice and lifted, or use your hands to stabilize your balance. Nothing wrong with that. All good in the world of yoga. As long as it's comfortable for you and you're feeling a stretch in that abductor. All right, so I'm going to bring my hands to the heart center. I'm going to switch my balance to the left side. Find my breath here. Then I'm going to pivot. I'm going to pivot to the left side of the mat. I'm going to bring my right knee down. Inhale, arms come up. Reach back. Exhale, float the arms down. All right, we're going to do that again. Inhale, arms come up. Reach back, open up to the right side. Inhale, reach back up. Arms parallel to the ears. And then from here, we're going to open up to the right side again. I just threw in that extra one. And then we're going to reach back with that left hand over the left ear. Windmill the arms down. Curl the toes under. We're going to go into that balancing pose. So we're going to take a little twist here and open up on the left side. Press through the heel. Again, you can take that twist with the knee on the mat and then float that arm down. So we're back into a low lunge. We're going to heel toe that left foot to the outer edge of that left of the mat. And we're going to come into our lizard. One of the things that you can do here is just extend that right leg back and then find your comfy lizard. So your body feels different every day. Each side of the body is different every day. So one hip may feel more flexible than the other, and that's okay. There's always a balance and imbalance, but you're always able to come back into balance. All right, so if it feels good to lower a little bit more, you can. Or you can begin to gently lift yourself back up. We're going to get into pigeon on the opposite side. So we're going to heel, toe, that left leg, foot across the mat. Find your pigeon so that left knee is just behind my left wrist. Heel, toe, all the way over. Find your pigeon. Nice deep breath as you lengthen. And as you lengthen, take a peek to adjust that back foot. And then from here, begin to lower. So whatever's comfortable for you, you can lower using a block. Take it slow. So pigeon can also be done on your back. So you can shape the legs into a number 4 and gently pull the thigh towards you, and there's your pigeon. So the feeling can feel intense in the hip. So take your time, take it slow. And you don't have to come all the way down. You can stay nice and lifted. So I'm going to lift up now. Hands are going to support my lift. I'm going to curl the toes of my back foot to lift that back knee. Bring that left leg up, come into a 3-legged dog, and then gently come back to a down dog. Press the heart towards the thighs. And then we're switching sides. Come to a plank. And then let's gently press back into down dog. Inhale, left leg high. Bring it all the way through, step forward. Drop that right knee. Low lunge, inhale, bring the arms back up. And then float the arms down. We're going to pivot again. Find your candlestick pose. Switch sides. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Little challenging today with balance. All right, then we're going to bring the hands down and we're going to pivot to the right side. That back foot's going to step front, forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins, coming to your half lift. And then let's root to rise, come all the way back up, palms touch, and palms come to heart. So believe it or not, this is full moon inspired. Inhale, arms together, reach up and back. Exhale, swan dive down this time. Inhale, hands on the shins, coming to your half lift, shoulders away from the ears, and then take those hands down, plant those palms, step back, come into a child's pose. All right. So option here to take a wide-legged child's pose, taking the knees to the width of the mat, or you can take the child's pose just the way we went into it. Nice deep breath in. All right, so just a moment there. Walk the hands towards your knees. Come to your tabletop. Curl the toes under. Come to your down dog. Inhale, right leg up. Bend the knee. Bring it all the way through. Come to your low lunge. Back foot's flat. Inhale, arms rise, reach back. And then from here, float those arms down. Ground that left hand. Inhale that right arm up. Exhale, float it back down. Then we're going to float it back up a few times more. Reaching up and exhale, float it down. Reach back up. Float it down. Last one. Reach high. And exhale, float it back down. All right, so hamstring activation. Press those hips back. Take a half split. Oh, God. My favorite poses, Anna.
All my favorite poses today. You might as well all hear this. I'm having so much fun back here.
I love you. All right, so we're getting into those hamstrings. You gotta give those hamstrings some love. Let's shift forward and shift back. Loosen up. Loosening up the hamstring. All right. Curl the toes under. Here comes another favorite. We're going to lift that back knee, extend that front leg, forehead to knee. So you can scoot that back leg forward so you can access the knee if you're not reaching the forehead to knee bend. And give yourself a little throat lock to stimulate the throat chakra. Never hurts to open up that communication. Again, you can use blocks to lift the body up and open up the body so that you can access it this way. So bend the knee if the forehead's not touching the knee, and then you can press the forehead into the knee. And if it feels too intense, just a little bend of the knee to just find your sweet spot. All right, so let's come into a high lunge. Inhale, arms come up. Find your balance. Inhale, hinge forward. I'm not going to have you do a half moon or a warrior three. We're just going to reach forward here. Inhale, arms come up. Come back to your high lunge. Float the arms down to bracket that front foot. And then that back foot's going to meet the front and come to a forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins. Exhale, plant the palms again. Step back with both feet coming into plank. Pull the navel in. If the navel's collapsing, bring the knees down. From here, press into down dog. Inhale, left leg high. Bend the knee and bring it all the way through to step forward for your low lunge. Inhale, arms come up, reach back. Let's open up to the left side. Reach back. Float the arms down. Take your balancing pose. Maybe taking the gaze up, then lower down. Come into that half splits as you lower that right knee. So I'm bringing my forehead towards the knee, but you don't have to. You can just stay right here. Again, you can stay nice and lifted using the blocks. And you can even play with the position of the foot to see where you find your sweet stretch. But shifting the hips back, that's where you're going to feel the stretch in the hamstring. All right, let's shift forward. Bracket that front foot. Lift that back knee. And then extend that front leg. Forehead to knee. Strengthen that back leg. So I don't know if you all noticed, but one side for me is different than the other. I'm much more flexible on my left side than I am on my right. So it feels to me like I can go in a little more deeply, but be compassionate here. You don't have to push yourself. Remember, this is a slowing practice for your reset, not to pain yourself for the rest of the week. All right, from here, let's bend and shift forward. Come to a high lunge. Find your balance. Plug that front toe in. Nice deep breath. Hinge forward. Inhale, reach back up. Float the arms down. Bracket that front foot. And then we're going to bring that front foot back into a plank. And let's lower the knees. Option here for your child's pose to take that wide-legged child's pose. And then we're going to shift to the mat. Walk the hands toward the knees. If they've taken the width of the mat, bring them together. Shift your hips to one side and let's swing the legs around. Okay, so soles of the feet together, coming into Baddha Konasana or butterfly pose. You can take a bind of the feet if you'd like, and what you want to do is walk your buttocks towards your heels. And then allow the legs to flutter. And then find your stillness. Take a nice deep breath in and lengthen the spine through the crown, and then exhale, hinge forward. Lengthening through the crown, feeling the length in the spine, and then just feeling the hinge at the hips. Inhale, release, come back up. Extend the legs to the width, the feet to the width of the mat. Support your back, your body weight with your hands behind you. And then allow the legs to flop back and forth. All right, so bring your hands by your side, palms flat. You're going to want to scoot down a little bit further. I'm going to just fix my mat so that I'm not off camera. All right, so with the knees bent, feet are flat. Let's work the core again, reaching forward. You know, we always do this. So we get good practice in the core. Pull the navel in. Remember, as you reach forward, you're leaning back at the same time. So you're feeling the front and the back of those pelvic bones. And then you find the sweet spot on the back of the pelvic bones to balance. If you want to play with the balance before we descend, you can tap. So here I'm balancing on the back of my pelvic bones. You can bring the legs to parallel. It's all good if you shake. You can extend the legs. Bring them back down. And all the way down. Pull the navel in. Ground those feet. Come all the way down, vertebra by vertebra. Head comes down last. Bring the knees to chest. And take a deep sigh of relief. Rocking back and forth. You did so well that you deserve a nice rock and massage on the lower back. So let's place our hands on our knees and rotate the knees so you can get that little low back massage that you've been wanting all day. And then rotate in the opposite direction. All right, so another core exercise. Let's bring our hands by our sides, palms flat, knees together. We're going to allow the knees to fall over to the right side. Actually, let's bring our arms to a T. Bring the knees to the right side, allow them to float to the right side without landing, and then pull the navel in, bring them back to center, coming back to that lower back sensation there. And then allow them to float over to the left side without touching the floor. And then pull the navel in and gently float back to center. Let's do that one more time. Float the knees down to the right. Pull the navel in. Come back to center. Float them all the way over to the left side. And then come back to center, squeeze in. See if you can squeeze into a little ball, tuck the chin, shoulders back. And then extend full body stretch. Bring the right knee to chest. We're going to go into a little twist. Let's squeeze that right knee in and then guide that knee to the left over the body. Extend that right arm out and take the gaze over to the right fingertips for a little twist. Slowly come back to center. Release the leg, arms over the head, full body stretch. And then reach for that left knee. Bring that knee to chest. If you want to flex the feet, you can. Squeeze in and then guide that left knee across the body to the right side. Extend that left arm out. Gaze over the left fingertips. And then come back to center. Bring both knees in for a gentle squeeze. And then you can reach for the outsides of the feet or peace finger your toes for a final movement here. Or any final movement you want to take. You can take a bridge pose, you can take a plow, you can take a legs up the wall, anything you like. I'm going to release, bring my arms down, feet are going to float in the air, heels, soles of the feet towards the sky, and I'm going to gently drop my legs all the way down to the mat and find your way to Shavasana. Palms face up to the sky. Tuck the shoulders underneath the body and just notice if you do that, what that feels like. It broadens the collarbone, creates more space to breathe. And allow yourself to just melt into your mat. Remember, even if you didn't do the entire practice, which is just fine, as long as you do Shavasana, that's the hook. Shavasana is the most important posture. Allowing yourself to rest is the most important thing. In this deep relaxation, allowing the toes to fall open, hips to feel heavy, arms feel heavy, and allow your eyes to sink into their sockets. Relax the jaw, the brows. And this is the most important posture of all because it is in our body's wisdom body and finding that deep relaxation where we open up to receive the benefits of this practice, to receive so that we can restore and repair. So my friends, you can stay in Shavasana. I'm going to begin to gently roll over to one side so I can cue you out of your Shavasana. All right, so let's begin to bring awareness back. Slow movements of the feet, of the fingers. Gently rolling over to one side. And when you're ready, gently pressing back up to seated. To join me with your hands at the heart center to seal our practice today. Please join me in bringing your prayer hands up to your third eye as a reminder to think kind thoughts, especially about yourselves. In front of our lips, to speak kind words, especially to ourselves. And back down to our hearts to remind us to live life full of love, joy, inner strength, Lots of courage and lots of grace. From my heart to yours, thank